Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Asian Report for the 20th of February, and starting with the ASX 200 here on the daily chart. What I do know, there's things that I don't know and things that I do know, that old story, but from this low here, all I'm interested in is counting these 5 waves to the upside here. And then we're going to get a correction here. This correction may even steep lower down through here. I don't know that yet, but after this 5 waves, we should get some type of correction here. So in this 5 waves to the upside, we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, and then we've got from 4 to 5 here. So we're also looking for 5 waves of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and we're going up for 5 here. So we know that over here we've got this consolidation over here, so that's going to mirror resistance over here, and the 62 number, in terms of using Fibonacci as a price ratio, the 62 can be looked at as a percentage, so 61.8 here. So moving up into this space, we're on the last legs here. So let's just go in and have a look at this, and this will also be in line with the US markets as well. So from wave 4 here, we're looking at 1 and 2, nice strong third wave, easy to count. Wave 4 here, and then wave 5 to the upside. It is possible to have wave 4 over in this little space here and look at this as 1 and 2 here, but wave 2 has got a little bit, a lot of price action here, where it should be, wave 2 should be normally quite simple. But let's go in and have a look at this on the hourly chart here. So we know that the market would like to push up into the 62 here, and if it's going to fail, then we can look at group 2 here. Let's just go in and look at that in a little bit more detail here. So we've got this wave 3 here, an A and a B and a C here. I'm using this low here because of this last 5 wave structure here as such. But it is a bit messy in this space here, and I also don't quite understand this little pattern in here as well. I mean, I understand that a market would come up and would find resistance at number 1 here, and then eventually find it as support, which it has done. So that's why we can move the stop up into this space here, but I'm not quite sure how to count this little guy here. I don't know if we should have wave 4 sitting over here, or we could have it sitting here. I'm not quite sure about that, but if it is sitting either here or here, then we need to look at this as 1 and 2 here and 3 to the upside. What we can do is take the next logical step if I don't understand something, and that is that I know that if the market drops below this, back down into this space here, then we've got a top in play on the upside here. So that's a reasonable place to leave this stop. On the upside here, I don't know how far it can go. We know that there's lots of resistance starting now. So what we can do is that the levels here, so between 100 and 200 here, we've got 1, 2 and 3, and 5, which is the midpoint, and then group 2 here, 65, 72 and 80. So we know that if we get a nice, this is tested support here, isn't it, on 100, so it's sitting on here. If we can find this particular pattern here in a smaller version sitting on top of number 330 here, 3, then we know that we're going to be pushing up to 5, and then you can move the stop up somewhat here. So I think just using a trailing stop and using the levels as well. So the next thing to do is really just observe this market sitting at 30 here. So like it's popped its head up through here, as it has done here as well, and then it needs to have a corrective play across that level here until it finds support on that level. So if it finds that support on the level and then makes a new high there, so let's just look at this in terms of, well, it's already made this high here, so it's made its first high, it's reacted, normally comes back and sits around the 2, can drop to 15, but not much lower than that, and then it will sort of have its thing here. So once it starts to take these tops out here as such, then you can move this stop here up under this one. You also know too that it's going to have a corrective pattern at the 50 there. So you could either decide to take profit there, or wait it out, and the same little pattern here will occur at the 50, and then the same one up here. So you can use those patterns at number 3, 5, and in group 2 here as your trailing stops, but you can't move it until the pattern is completed and we've got the move to the upside. Then you can move it over. The market's looking at the resources. They're being the most bullish, of course. So looking at Rio here on a daily chart, we're looking for Rio to also have a short-term top here as well. So from here we're looking at 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So it can come up further here, but eventually we'll see some type of correction play out here before seeing a move to the upside. And this is the same for BHP as well, with wave 1 and 2 and 3 here. Wave 3 is still a little bit short. It is actually a little bit longer to about this point here in regards to wave 1 here. So it's still really quite short. I mean, normally I would expect wave 3 to come up into 40 here, which would be a medium trading level at this particular point here for this market. So put that in there. But also too, the number 8 here will see profit taking here as well. But I've brought this down here because of the Rio count actually. But we've also got, you know, other things involved with BHP as well here. On the finance side, there's one thing that I wanted to point out here. This is the XXJ. So we've got in this space, we've got a major trading level at 8, and then 65 here is the medium level. And if we look at this here, as you know, I've been looking at this move up through here, either as an A and a B and a C here for a wave, back for a B wave, and up for a C wave. So I'm expecting a top here. So if this market makes a move above this top here, then we'd have to put the banking sector into bullish mode as well. Okay, so this is quite important, this whole little area through here. And if it was bullish, then we have to look at this as wave 1 here and wave 2 here, and then up for 1 and back for 2 here. It's the only way that it can fit into play. And then this would also be wave 1 and 2. So we would look to go long in banks if this top is taken out, but I really just want to see how this plays out here. And we're expecting, you know, the ASX 200 to top out shortly, in line with the US indices as well. So we've still got a little bit more, another session to go to the upside. So we'll just need to be mindful of that. But as things go, we're seeing, you know, gold push up, we're seeing palladium push up nice and strong, so we're seeing crude push up nice and strong, so we're getting those resources moving to the upside. Let's have a look at India, which is also in a weak position. So the India 50 here, as this is from the IG platform, by the way. So also you've got the BSE as well, and there can be slightly different prices looking at different stocks, different indices from different providers. So let's just go to the daily chart first. So this move, all of this move to the upside here, we've been looking at it in a bullish mode and also a bearish mode. But last time we spoke, and probably the time before, I've just been looking at it in the bearish picture, because it's hit the 61.8% area here, and then it's faded from here. And we'd been looking, I mean, this move up here doesn't really look like a bullish count, does it? I mean, it can be, but now that it's faded to the downside here, then it makes it a bit sort of bearish at this point. So what we've been looking at is this first move down through here, and obviously can find support at 10.5 here, so that move down to here. It does appear to be in 5 waves, so we'd be looking for a bit of a rally in 3 and then down again from that point there. So on the 4-hour chart here, this move down through here, I had a bit of trouble with this because this high here is the high on this chart, but on the cash market, this one here was the high. So I wasn't sure which way to go, but it's kind of stretching itself out now. So it makes it a little bit sort of easier to look at. The only problem with this so far is this, it's not such a problem, but from wave 4 to wave 5 here, I can see 5 waves in here, but wave 4 does move up rather high here. So I'm not quite sure about this, but at the same time again, the real trade from at this point will be coming across here. If we can identify this as being corrective here, then it'll give us a nice short opportunity into this space here. We are short here at the moment. Let's go and have a look at that. We need to protect profits here from this point onwards. So on the move down through here, we're in short here, so we need to protect those now. So a move back above here would signify that we're starting this ABC correction. So you may want to take some part profits here on this low area through here as well. So I'll just put that in there for the time being. At least, I mean, it's okay to leave some skin in the game, doesn't hurt. But yeah, certainly lock in some profit and go into protection mode here, and then we just really need to observe how this is going to play out here. Probably if it's going to move up here, it will move up in 5 waves for the A wave here, and then the B wave in 3 here, and then 5 waves up for wave C, and then down here. So this will also have 5 waves in it here, so that's where we'll look to short build positions back in again from this point here. That said, I'm putting the stop here because if this just continues to cascade down, then we want to be short again below this low here, and then we can also bring that stop down above this number here, which is important. So this 10,650, it's important because it's halfway between 500 and 800, so it always plays out quite strongly. If this is not the low here, then we're going to get the low off the 10.5 here, so down into this space here, and then get the correction back up in this way here, and then down from that point. So yeah, and then we'll obviously look to go short below the 10.5 as well. But you see how this has moved down through this level here. That becomes our reference point, and this is what we would need below the 10.5 as well. Alrighty, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.